So a lot of people seem to be upset by the fact that J.J. Abrams is going to be directing a live-action version of Your Name, and I'm not sure why. Now, I understand that most anime-based films have been terrible, but they also are usually from terrible directors and are like low-budget, schlocky clusterfucks. You know, like, no one expects the Ghost in the Shell movie to be good when it's from someone no one's ever heard of, you know, starring a bunch of actors who don't really seem fit for the roles of the original show. But how many opportunities have we had for a real, big-time, major Hollywood hitmaker to make an anime adaptation? I mean, I've been excited at the prospect of James Cameron making his goddamn Battle Angel Alita movie ever since he first said he was gonna do that like over 10 years ago and then never fucking did. J.J. Abrams may not be the greatest director. A lot of people have a lot of problems with him, understandably so. I wasn't the biggest fan of Star Wars The Force Awakens, however, I appreciate that that was a huge movie with a lot going on, and a lot of it was good. Like, even that being like a 7 out of 10 movie for me, like, there's so much going on, like, visually that looks great. There's, you know, there's just a lot in the movie, a lot of different things that do work, even if the film as a whole isn't the best. And I think, you know, it shows like J.J. Abrams can competently make a film, whether or not the script is necessarily perfect. Similarly with the Star Trek films. I mean, I don't dislike the Star Trek movies, they're pretty fun. J.J. Abrams is pretty much perfect at doing big, summary, blockbuster movies. Like, that's what he does. He does big, high-budget, exciting, fun theater films that you want to go see with your friends and family, especially for normies. Like, that's the kind of shit that they get behind. He kind of takes like a nerdy take on a big film that everyone will enjoy, and like, that's exactly what Your Name is. Your Name is a total blockbuster movie. It is a total crowd pleaser, big normie movie. J.J. Abrams' biggest specialty is giant plot twists. Like, that's his thing, is the setting up some kind of mystery and then having a huge shift in the plot that, you know, that occurs midway through. And like, when I heard this announcement, like, J.J. Abrams is going to direct Your Name, my first thought was, oh good, Your Name was already a J.J. Abrams movie. Like, it is already structured like one of his movies. It's a long period of setup and getting us intimate with the characters before a big plot reveal that changes the way that the movie's going to play out from then on. I assure you that the marketing of this movie will be highly emphasizing the mystery of why these characters have switched bodies. You know, he will put a lot of emphasis on, like, the question of why this is happening before the big reveal, because that's how he directs movies, and how he produces them, incidentally, because that's what he did with the advertising surrounding Cloverfield. He also has been known for his ability to do nostalgia really well, and I think that's sort of the biggest underlying emotion of Your Name, is that it's a very nostalgic film. It's one that, like, sort of takes its time with this very slow sort of, you know, exploration of the characters in this very laid-back, you know, countryside setting. And this is a guy who directed Super 8, which everyone lauded for specifically its nostalgic feel, its ability to capture childhood extremely well, and the feeling of old, fucking, what's his name? Goddamn Spielberg movies. He's gonna direct this like that. You know, if he does Your Name, he's gonna make it a Spielberg film, which is perfect. It's already a Spielberg film. People were talking about how they're worried that the visuals won't be as beautiful as the gorgeous backgrounds that were featured in the original film, but I mean, it's J.J. Abrams. His movies are generally gorgeous. Like, people joke about the lens flares and all that, and like, sure, I mean, fucking Your Name has tons of fucking bloom and extra shiny bullshit everywhere, because so does every Makoto Shinkai movie. His visuals are basically the anime equivalent of J.J. Abrams already. But, like, all we have to do is set this film in a beautiful town and take a bunch of gorgeous shots of it, you know? This movie can be exceptionally gorgeous. And, again, it's like, while this is a sci-fi movie on some level, it is not set in space. It's not going to look like a sleek sci-fi movie. It's probably going to look highly like lived in, and it'll probably be just all, there probably won't even be CG in this movie. I mean, J.J. Abrams loves practical effects. That was one of the best things about Star Wars The Force Awakens, and what made it so gorgeous to look at was that almost all of it was practical, you know, or as much as could be was practical. The CG wasn't great when it was there, but, you know, there's no reason there'd be CG in Your Name for anything other than, like, the scene where the dude drinks the fucking alcohol and trips balls. Like, that's the only part that would require any kind of shiny fucking CG bullshit. Again, this guy directed Super 8, which everybody praised for the fact that it was super nostalgic and tonally exactly the same as Your Name. Moreover, the plot and script of Your Name would be extremely easy to just transliterate into any other language and culture. Like, the most Japanese thing about the movie is the whole, like, sort of Shinto connection that the main girl has. You can easily just alter that into something else, you know, or cut it entirely. Like, it's not, I mean, it's kind of ingrained in there, but you can easily alter it. You know, this is a plot that could happen anywhere. You could even, like, because there's an element of it being sort of a commentary on the Fukushima, you know, meltdown and all that shit. And you could still translate that, too. Like, make the American one a commentary on the hurricanes that just destroyed Texas or whatever. You know, like, pick a disaster and, you know, comment on that in some way. Like, it's not hard to translate this script, and I don't think it's a movie that needed to be done in animation. Like, it already has realistic character designs. There's not any, like, extremely expressive animation in the film, you know? It's mostly pretty literal. It's not like it's fucking... It's not like it's a Satoshi Kon film where it would be nearly impossible to do in live action just because of the editing and the scene transitions. You know, it's not like a Hayao Miyazaki film where the insanely spellbinding animation that's incredibly detailed is the draw of the film. Like, the best thing it has visually is gorgeous backgrounds. And you can do that in film. You can do gorgeous backgrounds with cameras. J.J. Abrams can go out there and film this whole thing in IMAX. He can easily afford that, you know? Like, again, we're taking one of the biggest filmmakers in the industry right now. Not only extremely talented, like, regardless of Star Trek and Star Wars, whether you like those movies, you cannot deny the man knows how to make a movie and make it huge. And you're taking one of the biggest directors in the business, and he's taking one of the biggest properties, like, the biggest property in anime. This is the most successful anime film of all time. There's no way Hollywood doesn't recognize that that will make money, you know, translated into a live-action film, which is only necessary because Americans won't watch fucking anime, you know, at least not yet. Like, if Your Name was coming out 10, 15 years from now, I bet it would be a wide release in American theaters, but we're not there yet, you know? And, like, that's why there's going to be a market for this. And J.J. Abrams is the only person who can make it as big a hit here as the Japanese movie was, you know, elsewhere. Like, and even if it's not a huge hit, I think he'll make a decent movie out of it. In fact, if anything, I'd be excited for J.J. Abrams' career to go in this direction, because I kind of wish he would stop doing big sci-fi films and go make something more intimate and personal. And, like, the fact, again, that the structure of the movie is already how he structures his movies makes me think, yeah, like, I can totally imagine him sitting in the theater watching this movie and being like, how did I not make this movie? This is basically a me movie, you know? And then desperately, like, thinking, well, I'm the only one who'd be willing to make this into a real movie, you know? Like, I'm the only major Hollywood director who's looking at this and thinking I could make that in live action, so maybe I should. Even if this isn't a great movie, I don't think it will be an insult to the original. I also don't think the original is that amazing. Your Name is just a fun blockbuster movie. You know, I would put it on an equivalency with James Cameron's Avatar as a movie that is, like really exciting and fun as a cultural event and is a good movie to watch in the theater or just like just to get to see, but it will not have a lasting impact on people. It will not be a film that like continues to pull at your heartstrings for the next decade. You'll just remember it as it was a good movie, you know, it was a fun time. It's not particularly deep or meaningful. It's a blockbuster film. And J.J. Abrams can do that again. You know, I just don't see any reason to be so upset over this particular instance of a live-action director adapting an anime. If anything, this bodes much better for the future of such a thing. Like, if this movie is a success, maybe they won't keep attaching anime adaptations to shit directors. Maybe they'll actually try to take them a little bit more seriously, though, alternatively, you could end up with this making anime adaptations popular, and then they churn out a ton of shitty ones. Either way, you know, even if it does turn out bad, who cares? Like, everyone made such a big deal about the Ghost in the Shell movie being bad, and I made fun of it incessantly on this channel because it was funny. But you know, I don't know if it affected anything. No one, like, all it did was make a lot of money for a lot of YouTubers to complain about it, you know? It's not like it affected the reputation of Ghost in the Shell, because literally everyone's opinion of the movie was, this is an insult to Ghost in the Shell, you know? Which means that it in no way afflicted Ghost in the Shell as a social standing. If anything's damaging Ghost in the Shell, it's that the anime versions they keep making suck as well. Like Ghost in the Shell Arise, you know, and the stupid fucking pay-to-win shooter game they made. And like that the people actually running the franchise are running it into the ground. Anyway, that's unrelated. I think J.J. Abrams can make a fine movie out of Your Name. I see no reason to believe otherwise.